All right, guys, today was another green day, so that makes three for the week and one red day, which was yesterday, obviously, if you're following along with me. And today's green day was good. $42 in total in earnings on my P&L today, bringing me up to a total of $1,165.19. So definitely going in the right direction today. And this week's makes it great. Obviously boosting up my success rate. I'll talk more about that here in a little bit when we get to my stats and stuff again. But today's winner was a stock WENA. I think I've traded this before. This is a medical stock. I think it did have some news on it today. Specifically, I can't quite remember what it was, but it was it went up for something higher alongside heavier pre-market. More, let's see, investors noted that there was something I noted that was on it this morning. I don't quite remember what it was, but it had news on it, had a catalyst. So if you don't know, in the mornings, one of my processes, I get up in the morning. I have my alarm set for 6:30 in the morning. I typically finally get out of bed at about quarter till 7. And then I try to make my way over to my computer, kind of sleepy, groggy, whatever. And I'm looking at my scanners first thing in the morning. And I'm looking at what is the stock that's right for me. Now, I use a specific stock scanner. I've talked about it in other videos. I'll probably just throw a link to that in below this video of that particular scanner that I use. It's free. There's a paid version of it, but it works great for what I do. And there's other paid scanners out there. Webull has one. I even have one set up on Webull. I can show it here in a little bit, but overall, I use that particular app, right, that I have that I just scan. And I go ahead and I find those apps and I find those stocks that are the ones that I want to pick. And I'll go through that list, and some of them are too cheap, like they're penny stocks. I don't trade penny stocks. I try to stay away from them, actually, for a lot of reasons I've talked about on this channel. But I just stay away from those, and I stay away from higher price stocks with big spreads and stuff like that, because I don't want to get caught in big traps like that. I like smaller spreads, something that, like in particularly where it's only 4 or 5 cents, maybe, because you start getting bigger than that. I mean, if you got to sell in the bid, that can create big problems, especially if you're having a small gainer today, was only going up 10 cents, and then you got to sell in the bid and lose 15 cents. I mean, now you're 5 cents less, and it's tough to do that. So you definitely want to have a strategy in place to pick the right stocks too. So I pick very specific stocks. I had a video I just talked about all of that. If you want to learn more about what stocks I'm picking, you can check out that video. I'll put a link to it below this video, actually. So definitely check that out. So today's stock was WENA. It did have a catalyst. So the first thing I do is I look at my scanners. I see what's moving up. This is only moving up maybe 38-40% today. Wasn't a lot of big movers today in the market, I'll be honest. Maybe there was later on, but pretty much when I'm done trading, I shut my computer down and I just move on for the day, because the last thing I want to do is try to jump into something else and screw the whole thing up. And if you don't know anything about the way I've been trading, I've done that a lot so far as a beginner trader, but that's what I'm here to do, is to learn how to trade and follow me along, and I'm glad you're along here for the journey. So let's keep moving. All right, so the next thing I'll do, once I look at the stock and I find the catalyst, I'm going to look at some fundamental analysis here of my stock, and I look at the float. So the float is 11.64 million. It's over 10 million. I'd like it to be a little lower, but it is what it is. Not more than 20 though. I like the smaller the float, the better. So then average volume 2.91 million, and we were up over 47 million. So obviously this had some volume, which was great. Typically I like 5 times relative volume on a stock, so that meets a lot of those requirements there. And then what else? The price was great. It was right around $1. This morning was right around $1.59 or something. I think I bought at $1.58 actually. So the trade in question that I got in, I was right at about 6.55 this morning, which was good. I got up at the right time because this was really the move to make this morning. But I did make a few mistakes on this trade, which I will talk about. So first off, the trade started right here on this candle. I seen was bumping up, and I thought, yep, it's starting to curl up. We're going to have to get in if this thing makes a pullback. And it did. It got in and did a slight pullback at the beginning of this trade right here on this candle at 655. And then all of a sudden it dropped, and I was like down probably $35 at one point on this trade. But what I noticed is it bounced down to the 9 moving average, which was great. As long as it didn't break the 9 moving average, I thought we were going to be pretty much okay with this. So it pretty much went down to, let's see, I got in at 6.59. Was that right? No, $1.58. 6.59, $1.58, and then our stop out was like $1.50. So we were in pretty close to support, which was good. So that meant that, you know, the chances of it breaking below this were a lot less if it's holding the 9 moving average. But you know, this kind of, you know, it dropped down, and we were at about $35 at loss at one point. But I was like, as long as it doesn't break this, we will be fine. And it didn't. And then on the next candle, it started to come back up. And on the next candle, it started to come back up. And then we got the big gainer right here. Now, one of the things I did was once I got to about $1.63, which is about right here on that candle, I think I stopped out on this particular candle because it just was kind of hanging there. It was kind of this, if you don't know what this candle is, this is a doji candle right here. I don't know if you can see it. That is a doji candle. So what that means is the bears and the bulls are basically playing a game of tug of war right there. And there's really kind of a lot of indecision there on that candle. This can be kind of a point where you might see a reversal after this, but it didn't actually do that. It actually did another squeeze up and a leg higher. Now, honestly, I got out before we did this next candle, but it would have been nice to get in there. It would have been another 6 or 8 cents on top of the profit I already had made, and would have brought things up even higher. Overall, when I took this trade, I took out 700 shares because it was at a much cheaper price. And usually when it's a cheaper price like this, a lot of times it's not going to have, you know, huge moves, so you want to capture as much of that as you can. So I maxed out my maximum amount of shares I could probably buy. It was right around 700 shares. I know it was right around $1,100. So I knew if I took that trade, I wouldn't be able to take another trade in the day. And the reason is because when I actually start to trade this account with an actual cash account, the actual buying power that I have available would be $1,100 minus whatever's left. So basically, I wouldn't be able to buy another 700 shares for another day based on T1 trading, because the trade has to take a day to settle. It doesn't settle like the minute that the trade ends. You know, it takes a day for the broker to verify that the sale is complete and finish the sale itself. So I could only take one trade today because of that, but that's okay. You know, it turned out to be a good trade, and holding on a little bit longer was good. I actually held on this thing for right around 4 minutes. So probably one of the longer trades I took in a while. So pretty good overall. So when we look at this trade, I think everything went pretty good. I think the one downside was I got in at the top of this candle. Obviously, if I got in probably down in here somewhere, I could have gained a little bit, but the big thing was I should have stayed in just a touch longer, but I was worried we were going to see this flush down. And the reason I say that is because I had seen some flushes previous to this, like this one right here, that made me a little bit leery that could be possible with this trade. So I didn't want that to happen where you're up $40, $50 and all of a sudden it just, you know, drops like that and you lose it. So you kind of got to watch what is happened before, because if it's happened before, it can, and it has a history of it, especially if it has a history of it, then it's more likely that could happen again. That's why I had to be a little bit cautious with this. Now, actually, in reality, it didn't actually do that. It did a nice pullback here, and then it come back up a little bit, and then it fell further, and it came back up again. And then after that, it kind of traded a bit sideways. There was a couple other moves that were possible in this particular stock, but then at the open, it just completely sold off and it was done. So I knew that was pretty much the end of this stock right here. So I didn't even trade anything at 9:30. I don't even know if I turned my computer on at 9:30 today. Just didn't want to look at it. And then when it closed at the 4 o'clock bell today, I mean, it just sold off. This stock was up almost 40% today. It might have gone higher. I don't really know for sure, but at the closing bell it was 17%. At the 8 o'clock, let's see, this thing, the market ain't quite over yet today, but as of right now, it's down 3% for the entire day. So I think this stock's pretty much, overall, it's going to be done. If we look at the daily itself, I mean, this thing has sold off quite a bit compared to where it was at. I mean, this stock was up over $13 at one point, and now it's trading in at about $1.28, or yeah, 128 right now. So it's not really doing the best, you know. So probably won't see a lot of continuation on this stock. So that would be pretty much the end of that. So all right, so let's look at today overall stats. So I took that trade on WENA, 700 shares, bought at $1.58, sold at $1.63, earned about 6 cents a share. Could have been, wish I could have done a little bit better, maybe 4 cents a share more at least to get to that 10-cent number. $42 in profit though. I can't complain. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take my winner and I'm going to take it home because that's what I want. And overall for green trades this month, I've had $117 in profit. Losing trades, totally lost $34.80. So keeping my losers to a minimum right now, which is great. My success rate though is looking excellent right now. So 66.67%. We're shooting for 60% or higher. That is really what we're shooting for, 60% or higher. And then earnings per share is right at about 10 cents per share on my average trade. And then actually got to update this here. But let's see, 430 I got to add on. So my actual gain right now, and I didn't update this yet, but my actual gain is about $30 some right now. So that's great, you know. And then my average for this week, 75%. My success rate for the week, 75%. So we're moving in the right direction. But my profit to loss ratio, since I haven't seen gotten the real big trades yet, you know, like the $200 trades I did back in July, where I had this, let's see, this big one right here and this big one right here. Those really help boost up my profit ratio for the month. I need to get some of those. I need to hold a little bit longer on some of my trades, and I need to make sure that these trades I'm getting into are the best quality trades. And like for this last week and part of last week, I found good trades. I think I got to stick in some of them a little bit longer. I think I could do hang on just a touch longer for some of them. But you know, we're also in a colder market. It's not like it was July. July was really hot for a market. I think this market is definitely slowing down. Definitely with the S&P, they've had some dips and stuff like that. So so the market is in what we're considering a little bit of a cooler period right now. So hopefully, you know, we can see that these things will pick back up. I think let's look at S&P 500. Yeah, overall, you know, we had this big dip right here, almost down to the 200 moving average, and then it came down another day in there. It is slowly coming back up, you know, which is good. You know, there's going to be these corrections like this. That's going to happen in the market, but you know, it's to be expected. It's not terrible. It's not meaning that we're in a recession yet. Hopefully not, you know. I'd hate to see that happen to our economy and everything, but it is what it is. We got to just trade the market we're in and do the best we can with what we have. So overall, that's my metrics. That's everything going right now. Everything's looking great. I think if we can get another green day, it's going to keep the momentum going, because after all, I'm trying to keep just my weeks down to one red day per week, and that's it. And keep it good, you know, just keep moving forward with quality trades. And this month, I'm obviously seeing a lot more green trades, and it's doing well. So we can't really expect anything more than that. So definitely going in the right direction here. So if you'd like to follow along, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications and the bell so you can get notified every time I got a new video coming out. And I will see you in the next video.